Good morning. Hi, everybody. Sarah, the mala with the key was outstanding. Absolutely gorgeous, the key mala. Good morning, everybody. Oh, it was so gorgeous. That key was just incredible. How's everybody doing? I thought I'd hop on a little early. One baby's still asleep. No, I think it's just that one. I just actually got to look at it yesterday because I've been busy running around. So I didn't get to really see it until yesterday. So pretty. So pretty. We're on 41 already. Thanks for the hearts and the shares, you guys. Yeah, so pretty. The citrine, I think citrine's one of my favorite stones. It's just so clear and gorgeous and fabulous. So 41 is a long chapter in this book. We'll see how far we get. One baby is still asleep, so if she wakes up in the middle of this, I'll probably have to go. Morgan said they woke up at 2:30 in the morning and then fell back asleep at like 7:30. Yeah, it was really clear. Some citrine's cloudy, but those beads looked really clear. So we're just going to jump right in here. I know. I got here and she's so exhausted. I was like, oh no. She said she'd been awake since 3:30. Because by the time they fell back asleep, she had to get ready for work. And her work, by the way, is going outstanding. She's already making more money. It's chickens. It's school for chickens on Sesame Street today. So, anyway. My name is Michelle Wolf, and you can find me at caddyshackdesigns.com. And you can find tabs for everything that I do on that website. Yay! Oh, cool. Okay. I will. So, today's is on and off. It's kind of long. Thoughtful people hear about the way and try hard to follow it. Ordinary people hear about the way and wander onto it and off it. That's me. Thoughtless people hear about the way and make jokes about it. That's my husband. It wouldn't be the way if there weren't jokes about it. So they say, the way's brightness looks like darkness. Advancing on the way feels like retreating. The plain way seems hard going. The height of power seems a valley. The amplest power seems not enough. The firmest power seems feeble. Perfect whiteness looks dirty, and pure and simple looks chaotic. A message of opposites today. The great square has no corners. The great vessel is never finished. The great tone is barely heard. The great thought can't be thought. The way is hidden in its namelessness, but only the way begins, sustains, and fulfills. Begins, sustains, fulfills. It's that thing we've talked about before where it's the simplest things that we overlook. It's the easiest way that we ignore. If it's easy, we don't want it. I've been really wrestling with that concept of ease and how I allow it and don't allow it in my life. It feels like retreating. Well, you're retreating from the way you've been taught to live the world, to live the life. You're retreating from that. And retreating from relationships, concepts, society in general. So it gets hard to talk to people sometimes, just average people, like, people at the gas station or maybe members of your family who have no idea what you're talking about. It can feel like too tiring almost to talk for a while. Yes. Very. And to always be allowing the possibility that we don't know. So, for example, yes, exactly. I was complaining about myself, about Heath not coming with me the other day. But also in the same moment recognizing that if he wasn't coming there, I don't know what's best. I don't know the big picture. But what happened while he was home is the cat, somebody brought in a bird and destroyed it in the shower. And then Juna brought in a mouse, chased it all over the place and, made a giant mess. That kind of stuff undoes me. The dead animal thing that comes with cats, I can't handle. So as it turns out, I was glad that he was at home to clean all of that up before I got home. So it's just another example of, we don't know. I would rather have spent the day down here without him. This is how bad I hate it. Than to have to come home to an exploded bird mess and an eviscerated mouse. So, yes, that's the yuckiest part about cats. And the cold weather is driving that tiny wildlife closer to the house so they come inside the pen and they can grab it. Yeah, so when I got home, I was like, okay, I get it. Thank God you were here. And I would rather have had you here. Cats are weird. They're so predatory, and we live with them. We choose to live with them, and we spoil them rotten, and they're really just tiny saber-toothed tigers. Most of mine will eat it if they're allowed to, but they don't all eat it. Yeah, so when I got home and I found all that out, I was happy. And I even found a couple of bird feathers later. Yeah, they're not domesticated like dogs. They still have a wild streak in them, which I both admire and am repelled by. It's a mixed bag with cats. And we certainly didn't set out to have 5 or even 4. It just happened. Okay, let's see what Stephen Mitchell has to say about this. The little book. Good morning, Susan. When a superior man hears of the Tao, he immediately begins to embody it. Yes, Angela, that's a big one. When an average man hears of the Tao, he half believes it, half doubts it. Duality is a constant concept. When a foolish man hears of the Tao, he laughs out loud. If he didn't laugh, it wouldn't be the Tao. Thus it is said, the path into light seems dark. The path forward seems to go back. The direct path seems long. True power seems weak. True purity seems tarnished. True steadfastness seems changeable. True clarity seems obscure. The greatest art seems unsophisticated. The greatest love seems indifferent. The greatest wisdom seems childish. So, did you hear that? The greatest love seems indifferent. The greatest wisdom seems childish. Those two sentences really stand out to me today. The Tao is nowhere to be found, yet it nourishes and completes all things. You can't find it, you can't pin it down, you can't define it and form it, but it is everything. It nourishes and completes all things. It can't be more true that the more into source type love you go, the more indifferent people can perceive you to be. I've definitely encountered that. And I've also been called like a jokester, where people didn't take me seriously at all because I just see a lot of humor and stuff. And that surprised me too. I was like, what? But it is humorous because it's crazy. But they perceive that as like childish, and then perceive the love that lets people go and lets them off the hook as being somehow indifferent. Because we've defined love as sacrifice and suffering, and you have to give up for me, and I have to give up maybe for you, and you have to do things that I want to do even if you don't want to, same, like it's a constant I have me doing things I don't want to do and him doing things he doesn't want to do, rather than just letting each other off the hook. I know, right? So people get upset that you're not taking it seriously. But you're not taking it seriously because you understand there's nothing there. It's all a made-up story. So I put turning story into glory in our title because that's what we're doing. The more we undo story, the more a natural, glorious happiness and joy just arises and becomes part of daily life. When I chose divine ease for my core desired feeling for this year, I know we don't want to live with her. She would make us be responsible for everything. I don't think I even want to live in her neighborhood. So when you choose a word, everything unlike it starts to come to light. So I get to become aware of all the ways that I don't let life be easy. And where I judge, she would make us cry a lot, where I judge other people who seem to have it easy. So when I pick divine ease, because that's what I want, but I'm not there yet, then all day, every day, I get to see how I make it hard and how I get judgy about people who seem to have it easy. I don't think anybody actually has it easy. Right. She's not validating my feelings. She's not joining in my story. And in fact, she's making me realize I'm telling a story, which really sucks, that stupid Byron. Oh, BK, Burger King, Byron Katie. So if people start accusing you of being indifferent, you know that that means you're on the right track. And the more indifferent they see you, the better off you are. When I started saying no to people who wanted me to do everything for them, oh my God, I got accused of being cold. And I wasn't saying no in a fuck you kind of way. I was saying no in a this isn't good for me, which lets me know it's not good for you either. So no. And I love you very much, and you're going to have to find somebody else. Because I love myself too. There's quite a little music going on back there today, isn't there? No stories allowed with two parents who've taken your DNA. Oh yeah, they are so screwed. Morgan never got away with lying because she lived with an investigator. How does she know it's not good for them either? Because if it's not good for me, it's not good for you. If it feels bad to engage, if it feels bad to say yes when I really want to say no, then it's not good for either one of us. Because my participation in that event will be tainted by resentment. When I say no, when I say no for myself, I know I'm doing the right thing for you. I tell my kids they can feel how they want to feel. Right. And then they can change the story. Yeah. My choice, if I go against myself, then my choice to go against myself is not good for them or anybody else. Because that tangles me up in my own energy. Staying true to myself means you get the opportunity to find someone else to play a story with or become more independent and figure it out yourself. But anytime I say yes when I really want to say no, that's a problem. And it's going to be a problem for everybody. And yeah, because we're one. So, chapter 41 in Byron Katie's book says the direct path might seem long because mind tells you of a distance and mesmerizes you with its proof. When you believe that thought, that the direct path seems long, you feel the exhaustion that accompanies it, the heaviness and the stress. But the direct path isn't long, and in fact there's no distance at all. Where are you going other than where you are right now? How can you go anywhere else? The direct path means realizing that the beginning and end of every journey is always where you are. That's where you can run into trouble, where when you're goal setting, your intention is to leave who you are and be somewhere else, and your whole thought is to rejecting the current reality and reaching for an imagined future reality, which doesn't even exist yet. You got to accept where you are and be comfortable where you are, and you still make changes if you want to, but the whole energy is different. It is a paradox. My husband and I were talking about last night trying to find a word for the process where you accept the current reality and you generate the emotion of the reality that you would like to experience. And you look for the evidence of how you're already experiencing it in your current life, even though you might not define it that way. So it's like looking for abundance in all the ways in your life rather than your bank account. It is a paradox, for real. For reals, yo. You can't make a decision. You can only experience a story about how you made it. Decisions make themselves. They're happenings. They come when the time is right. I like to ask, are you breathing yourself? No. Well, maybe you're not thinking yourself or making decisions either. Maybe reality doesn't move until it moves, like a breath, like the wind. When you tell the story of how you're doing it, you keep yourself from the awareness that you are nature flowing perfectly. Who would you be without the story that you need to make a decision? If it's your integrity to make a decision, make it. And guess what? In 5 minutes, you might change your mind and call it you again. I love how mind changes. I watch it and am steadfast in that delight. I love the movement and flavor of mind changing. I move as it moves without resistance. It shifts like the wind. That is true. Our minds shift like the wind all the time. I say yes because there's no reason to say no, and I say no very easily too. No is as effortless as yes. No is as effortless as yes when your primary drive is to make sure you're in alignment, and you never say yes if there's a twinge of something funny's here, something funky's here. I say whatever is true for me, and it sometimes confuses people. They misunderstand and do what they need to do with it, and I am very clear that a no is as loving as a yes, because I am always saying yes to my integrity. A no is a yes too when it comes from integrity. So you may be saying no to your sister-in-law who wants you to drive her to look for work after you've already told her that you're not going to do that anymore. You're saying no, but to her you're saying yes, you can find other ways in the world. Yes, I have faith in you that you can figure this out. Yes, you are now open to making new friends while I'm saying no. Yes, I'm challenging you. My no is going to challenge you to open your mind and to start asking where else in the world you can express. Good morning, Linda. So a healthy no, an integrity no, is a yes to growth for both people, I think. Wherever you come from, I'll come from that position in order to meet you. Definitely. I've experienced that repeatedly, enough that I trust it, and enough that I know that I feel pretty horrible when I'm contradictory in my energy that way. Wherever you come from, I'll come from that position in order to meet you. That's why some of the things I say appear to be contradictory. At different times, I'm coming from different directions, and they're all true. It can sound inconsistent or like a puppy chasing its tail. It seems to go nowhere. It can sound like riddles and be confusing and sometimes can't be followed. Someone who's doing the work with me may not hear the contradiction at all because we are joined in the moment. Whereas to a person in the audience, it may sound like gibberish. But if you listen without thinking about what I mean, if you just immerse yourself in the experience, you won't hear it as gibberish. It will make perfect sense. When I'm working with someone, I'm not thinking about the outcome. I'm concerned with whether you're taking it in or how deep your insight is or what you do with it or how far you go with it. Oh, I'm not concerned with any of that, whether you're in resistance or awakening. What I care about is what you care about. If your answers are shallow and limited, that's all right, because I see it's all the depth that's required in your world right now. If you seem to make no headway whatsoever, I understand that the illusion you're holding on to is precious for you. And if you want to keep it, then that's what I want. Or if, on the contrary, the bottom falls out as you're answering the questions and everything you thought you knew drops away and you fall into the abyss of reality, I love that you've given that to yourself. I love that you've entered the don't know mind where everything is surprising, fresh, and brilliant, and you're like a child discovering life for the first time. But that isn't my preference unless it's yours. Why would I want to take your world from you, even if I could? That's the heart of motivational interviewing, which is a therapeutic technique that works really well with everyone. You meet people where they are, and you don't argue against their reality. You just introduce information. And if they're ready to take it, they'll take it and run with it. And if they're not, you understand that you've planted a seed, and you don't worry about when that seed sprouts. It's really the only way to stay sane when working with addicts and teenagers. And even worse, addicted teenagers. You can't take people's realities away from them. If in therapy you take a direct approach and you force a breakthrough, you force a momentary awareness, it doesn't last. They leave your office and 10 minutes later they're back in their story because they weren't ready to wake up yet. They didn't wake up on their own. You conked them on the head and woke them up for a minute and they were like, oh my God, I get it. I totally see what I'm doing. And then 5 seconds later they're asleep again because they didn't do it for themselves. You can't change people. You can only introduce, and they make the changes. If you force them to change, they don't really change. They just go underground and pretend compliance or suppress their own nature to comply with a family system. The only change that lasts is that which is self-generated. What? My goodness. Hi, noisy butt. That's the awake one. Can't get in the chair. You want your laptop? There you go. Get to work. Your report's due at noon. Isn't that cute? They love it too. When we're trying to work on our laptops, they just want our laptop. They're not actually trying to, ruin our day. So we give them their laptop, and they're fine. She's got her little snacks. She's got her little laptop. She's all set. She's talking to it. So cute. We're all 5-year-olds just learning how to do this thing called life. Whoop. When someone calls me wise, I laugh at the thought. Infinite mind always leaps ahead of itself. What? What you want? No? You just wanted to talk? Just came over to tell me something that I didn't understand. Let's see. Yes, did you get your TPS report? So, you're gonna have to work on Saturday. Did you get the memo? That has to be one of the best movies ever made. Office Space. So funny. How am I going to leave the love of my life? I hear myself say, goodbye, Bob, I love you. I notice life entering me as I walk away. Life continues to flow into me just as that dear man flowed in. Every step is where I am, even though it appears that I'm moving. How wonderful not to need the world, not to go out toward it. I'm going to talk about this too. How wonderful not to need the world, not to go out toward it, but always to allow it to meet and enter me. I find that there's room in me for everything, everyone, every situation, every flavor of being. I love the openness that I am. I can't get through a day without hearing somebody talk about that concept of going out and getting versus making yourself a magnet and letting it come into you. That man flowed into my life like everything. Yes. Yeah. Think about it. Think about how much sweeter are the things that showed up as if by magic. You can look back and see where you were attracting them. You had set your magnetics or whatever to attract something to you, but you weren't actively looking for it, and it just showed up on your doorstep, and it was perfect. Making yourself a magnet and letting it come to you without prejudging the form or the how or the way or the structure. Oh, ew, enjoy. Get some cookies. I was thinking about cookies this morning, of all things. In comparison, the things that you've had to go out and fight for. Love you too. The things that you've had to go out and struggle to get. And then you have to struggle to maintain them if you have to fight for them. So that's what we are going to talk a lot about. That's what we talk about every day. I don't know if you had thought of it that way. And then the other thing is the thing we talk about a lot, that what you resist persists. What you reject stays stuck to you like glue. It did, right? I totally did. Bye! She may have. So, whatever it is you're complaining about, whatever it is you're rejecting, I recently heard Jody England put it in a way that, for some reason, clicked really hard for me. She said, what you complain about is what you're committing to not having. What you resist persists. If you're fighting against it, it cannot leave your life because you're engaging with it. You're actively resisting and judging and complaining about it, which keeps it active in your energy field. So it can't change. The only way to let it change is to totally accept it, which can and is sometimes the hardest thing in the world. To accept the unacceptable. So, accepting people for who they are in the moment often lets them change and display different behavior once you've accepted, not approved of, accepted their behavior as it is, as the truth, without varnishing it, without trying to buff it in, paint it into something prettier, just accepting it as it is. You'd be shocked at how many times that behavior will disappear once you totally accept it, or that person will disappear. So if you're complaining about, so I've been complaining about, yes. So complaining equals a commitment to not having what you're complaining about. So for example, she was talking about complaining about people who get things for free. And as I thought about it, I still have a judgment against people who have it easy. Of course, because I picked ease as my word for this year. So everything that blocks me from having divine ease is coming up so I can see it and take care of it and allow more of that divine ease is. That happens every time. As soon as you claim a state that you want, everything unlike that state, everything preventing you from achieving that state of mind comes up so you can see it and take care of it, which, thank goodness. So yeah, that's my core desired feeling for today. It could change tomorrow, but that's what I'm working with. So she was complaining about people who get things for free, and I often complain and get judgy about people who seem to achieve things so easily. So easy. Why is it so easy for them? Why do I have to work so hard? Why do I have to struggle so hard? And it just comes to them like it's so fucking easy. So that means that I'm committing myself to having it hard. Because I'm judging having it easy. And if we're judging it, we're not going to let ourselves have it. If I hate on somebody who has an easy life, I'm not going to let myself have an easy life. Because I don't want to be that hateful person. Does that make sense? So I'm judging and resisting. The shift is recognizing it and looking at your stories about it. So I have stories in there that say I have to work hard. I have stories that say other people shouldn't have it easy. You're supposed to have to work hard, and they aren't having to work hard, and they should. They should have to work harder. They should have to work as hard as I'm working. And this is the craziness, right? You hear these things out loud, and you're like, that is freaking crazy pants that you think that way. But look around and see where you're scoffing at people or dismissing them or judging them. It's good information. So, Susan, it's that. You recognize it. Oh my gosh. Fear of being seen. Fear of approval. Approval needs are a big one, I think, that comes up with Periscope. How many hearts do I have? How many followers do I have? How many people watch the replays? I see people go through that a lot. My last job burned up most of my approval needs because people were kind of mean. So I got past that, so I don't worry about hearts and followers so much. But I do still look at it, and I don't think much about it. But I glance at it. And then in the beginning, I noticed a lot of people struggling with heart counts. And a lot of the groups are very supportive, but they're also designed to watch each other's scopes and drive up the heart count. I mean, that's fine if that's where you're at. And look at what's behind that behavior. Why does the heart count matter to you? It doesn't validate or invalidate your message. Yeah, if you have 1,000 hearts and somebody else has 1,000,000 hearts, it doesn't mean their message is any more validating. Yeah, I didn't connect to any of the groups either, Angela. I'm in several of them, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. The focus is too different. So look at where you're judging. It is a good sign, right? Tony, that's great. A great point. It's a good sign that groups don't work for you. So complaining about people who have it easy means that I have to look at my stories about what does it mean to have an easy life. Why is that bad? Why is it a bad thing to have things easy? Why do I feel like things have to be so frickin' hard? And how hard does it have to be? For God's sake, it's been pretty hard for 40-something years, nearly 50 years. When is hard enough? When is hard work enough? When are your dues paid? Do you have to work your whole life to pay dues before you can be successful? No. So I have to undo my stories about ease and what that means. You may have to undo your stories about approval and what that means. Martha Beck calls us approval whores. There really aren't. There are no dues. But we've bought into those concepts, cultural concepts and societal and teachers. You know, you have to work hard. You have to work hard. And if you don't work hard, well, then you're spoiled. Are you stuck? And she's okay. Avery's still asleep. That's going to be disastrous later in the day. Here. You want this on? I think the battery's dead. Cutie patootie. The other one's on the charger, but I think this one might be dead. Here you go. She has a tablet too. Look at that diaper butt. Yeah, I do enjoy that sometimes when one is sleeping and the other one's awake. You get a little one-on-one time with them. Isn't she cute? Ah! Angela, it's the worst. We usually save the tablets for just in the car. That pushing. Don't do it. The worst. The pushing is the worst. If you haven't listened to Jody England's recording on how to get clients, just Google Jody England Spreaker. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And to do that causes damage. I've damaged myself, forcing myself to do that. Yes, Tanya, exactly. It makes my stomach hurt. It makes my heart contract and squeeze and feel like the Grinch is 2 sizes too small. I can't handle it. I'm in another group that has a lot of terms like push and smash and crush, and I don't like that. Yes, Susan, there's nothing wrong with that slower pace. So, turning your story into glory. I like that. I'm going to sit with that for a while. Taking apart the story allows that natural, glorious holiness come to the forefront, which is what I want. I want more of that. I want more of ease, this deep breath of letting go. Just drop it. Just stop it. Stop, drop, and roll. It puts the fire out, right? Stop, drop, and roll. It puts the fire out. It accomplishes it. So, do you guys have any questions today? What'd she do? Oh, licking the Cheerio bowl. Yum. What are you doing back there? Hi. All right, I'm going to go play with this little kid here while she's happy. Oh, it's empty. Oh, no. What are we going to do? You need more? You need more? Okay. I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's our Course in Miracles day. What's tomorrow? Tuesday. I might be a little late in the morning. By Monday night, I'm usually pretty exhausted. So, okay, gotta go. Talk to you later. Say bye. Come here and say bye. Over here. You gotta wave bye where they can see it. Wave bye. Bye-bye. Say bye-bye. She's like, give me that phone. Okay, see you later.